What is up, my friends? You're very welcome along to a sad, a frustrated, and an angry Anfield Agenda player ratings video. As always, I'm going to go through the referee, the players, the substitutes, and our manager, giving them all a score out of 10. You'll see 2 scores in every player card. The upper right hand corner is the average Anfield Agenda audience score. If you'd like to contribute to that in the future, make sure you're signed up to our WhatsApp by scanning that QR code in the bottom corner. That's where we put in the link to post in your player ratings. The other square in the centre of the image is my score. I haven't seen the audience's score, so I've no idea how you guys are scoring the performances. But for me, look, before we get into individuals, that is a performance once again to me that just underlines that the players are not playing for the manager, that the manager is not inspiring or putting fear into those players. By no means do I think the players should escape any criticism here. Many of them have a lot to answer for. But to change this around, something needs to actually happen. There needs to be a shock. There needs to be a wake-up call. And that has to be the firing of the manager. He cannot turn this around by the looks of it. We have suffered 3 goal defeats 3 games in a row. We have been beaten at home 4-1 by PSV, 3-0 by Nottingham Forest in the space of a week. Nothing is showing it's getting better. So wherever you're at and the who's blame, surely at this point, the manager has to be the one that's held accountable. And yes, some of those players need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Konate shouldn't wear a Liverpool shirt again, in my opinion. But even at that, Slot's trying to make excuses after the game. I'm lost. I don't even know if I have much anger left in me. Let's get through the players. We'll start with the referee. Genuinely, I thought he was terrible. Terrible just all around. Not in favour of or against anyone. Just not a particularly good referee, but... no complaints with the penalty that we conceded. It was absolutely a penalty. Don't know what Verge was moaning about. So for the referee, I'm going to give a score of 4. And the audience thinks similarly there with a score of 4.1. Georgi Mamardashvili, genuinely don't think he was great. Certainly felt like a couple of those goals were preventable to some extent, or he could have done better with. The first time I've probably been in any way critical of him. So yeah, that's my honest opinion of his performance tonight. Obviously unfortunate that Alisson was ill. So for Georgie, I'm giving him a 4.5, and the audience have gone for a 3.8. Milos Kerkez. Again, I thought started the game brightly. You're never going to get a lack of effort from Milos, but sometimes he is just too eager. And there was a couple of times today where he tried to jump into a challenge, didn't time it right, and the man was gone past him. I think there's a player there to work with and a player that will be good over time. But tonight, I'm giving him a score of 5, and the audience have gone for a 4.2. Virgil van Dijk. Where to start tonight with the captain? He looked like his head wasn't right tonight. From the penalty incident to the frustrated challenge for the yellow card to the constant mouthing off of the referee, it just looked like something was in his head and shook him tonight, and he never really recovered from it. We know what a player this man is, but at the minute, there's no leadership. There's no managing or marshalling that defence, and it looks like a lost cause. It's heartbreaking to see. So for Virgil, a 4.5, which is without a doubt the lowest score I've ever given him, and the audience have gone even lower with a 2.7. Konate. The biggest crime here was that he played, because he has made mistake after mistake, has cost us goal after goal, and today was no different. The man jumped over the ball. Could have stood still and it hit off him, but he jumped over it. He is a liability and his head's all over the place. Retract the contract offer, let him go. We need to move on. We need fighters. And he just doesn't look like he wants to be here anymore. So for Ibu, it's a 3, but the audience think that's too generous. They've gone lower with a score of 2. Curtis Jones. I thought he put in a good shift. You can tell he cares. He's talking after the game again about the badge and being a fan as well as a player. And look, he was put in it right back, not his position. But he's honest and he gave it a go. That means something for me. So I'm going to give Curtis a score of 5 because it wasn't his position and he was trying for the team. 3.6 from the audience is the average score there. Again, look, Curtis Jones wouldn't be somebody that I think is the greatest footballer to wear a Liverpool shirt, but he never hides on a football pitch, and that always holds water with me. Ryan Gravenberch. Somebody asked me in the match reaction how he's escaped criticism, and I guess he kind of has to some extent, but all of these players should be held to account. The reason why you hear me and maybe others talk more about the likes of Virgil and Mo is because they're the standard bearers, the leadership group. Mohamed Salah once again tonight, I've not seen a single quote from him to the media. The manager's fronted up, Jones is fronted up, I dare say Virgil probably will. But once again, nowhere to be seen. On the pitch today, Gravenberch was trying, but we were just too exposed and we're too easy through the middle. Something has to change there. Whether it's bringing in a DM, whether it's changing the setup, we're too easy to play through the middle of the park. So for me, it's a 4.5 for Ryan and a 3.9 from the audience. Alexis McAllister. I really don't know what's up with Alexis this season. He looks a pale imitation of the player we know he is. I know he came into the season playing a bit of catch-up and carrying a bit of a knock. He did have a couple of games where he looked decent, and I'm not just talking about the ones we won. He just seemed to be getting back there, but tonight again I thought he was quite far off it, lacking a lot of the intensity he usually plays with. Love the guy, but he's just not at it, as are many others at the minute. So tonight it's a 5 from me, and it's a 3.8 from the audience. Szoboszlai. I've lost count of the amount of people tonight who wanted the armband taken off Virgil and given to Dom. I don't think the idea of stripping a captain mid-season is a good thing, nor do I think Virgil should have the captaincy stripped off him. But this man is covering every blade of grass out there on the park and trying, making himself available. And if they all had that attitude, I think we'd be potentially able to dig our way out of this. But at the minute, we look lost. So for Dom, I'm giving him a 6 because, as I said, I think he was one of the few players who can have some credit this season, and the audience have gone there for a 6.6. Salah. Any manager that had any self-respect would have dragged him off after their second goal. In front of the manager, and I mean within 15 yards of him, he stood there and watched the PSV Eindhoven player waltz past them and into our half, and then they went and scored. He didn't try to get back. He didn't look like he gave a damn. He didn't want to challenge. It was embarrassing. There's nothing else I can say. He's not doing it, attacking or defending. And he's not getting held to account, ever, at all. I'm lost. 4 for me from Mo, and you can see the response of the audience, even lower, at a 2.5. 2.5. Cody Gakpo. I thought in the first half he was quite effective. I thought he was linking up well with Milos Kerkez, and I thought they were causing problems. He did miss a sitter of a header, which I have docked him half a point for because he should be scoring that. But I actually thought, again, like Dom, he was okay tonight. You may disagree. This is just my opinion. But I'm giving him a score of 5.5, and the audience have gone with a score of 4.2 for Cody Gakpo. Ugo Ekitike, who apparently has a back injury, which means it looks like he could be out for a little bit. Aaron, I thought that was the reason why we conceded in the second half, because the press was off, because Ekitike, the press wasn't there in the first half either, mate. It's just more nonsense from the manager. Hugo was the bright spark again, always looking to make something happen, putting himself about, getting into good positions. It's a shame he's picked up a knock. It's going to set us back again. So it's a 6 for me, for Hugo, because I thought he was good when he was on. Excuse me. And a 5.3. This is the first time I just feel lifeless doing this video. I feel empty, sad, numb. Alexander Isak. I thought he tried hard when he came on. Trying to make stuff happen, drifted out into the channels. Again, though, it was a salvage job more than anything at that point when Hugo was injured. And I think he will come good eventually. He isn't there yet. I'm not going to try to pretend otherwise. But today, I thought he was decent enough. So I gave him a 5. And it's a 3.9 from the audience. Fede. What to say? Thought he put himself about as well when he came on. There's a mixture of fans who think whether he's good enough or not. But I'd like to see him brought on, not in garbage time. Not again when the game's lost. Give him a start. Give him a run of games. You know, I don't know what the manager has against them, but it's sad at this point and it's embarrassing. I've given him a 6, and as you can see, the audience didn't really disagree. They went with a score of 5.9 for Fede. And finally, the manager, who I refuse to give a score to. because he shouldn't be here. Call me petty, fine. But nothing is showing that this is changing. Nothing is showing that he has the ability to turn this around. It's going backwards. We're getting worse. PSV Eindhoven, who he should know inside out, and we are torn apart again. And he talks about the game being close and nearly going to 2-2. Nearly isn't worth a shite. We were thoroughly and comprehensively beaten at home again. Look at the fans in the Kop. Look at the look on their faces. Lost, frustrated, hopeless, sad. If he had anything about him, he'd resign. But he won't. When you've got legends like Carragher, Gerrard, saying the manager's job shouldn't be in question, how? There's no signs, no indication that he can figure this out. He's rewarding ineptitude. He talks about standards but isn't holding them to any. And then complains about a small squad after he spent nearly £500 million. It's laughable. The bench had 2 keepers on it and an injured Joe Gomez. I don't know what else to say other than P45 and fire him. Look at the audience score. 1.4. Nobody that I'm aware of believes he can turn this around. People might not want to call for the manager's head out of respect. That I understand. But it's time. Get it done. The season's still salvageable. We're becoming a laughing stock. So that's tonight's player ratings video. This is incredibly worrying. And I don't know how much more of this fans are going to be willing to take or can take, because it's soul destroying. This is where we're at. League champions, bottom half of the league, getting beaten at home 4-1 by PSV after they beat us last season as well. This is not Liverpool Football Club standard. These players are not Liverpool Football Club standard. They're not putting in a shift. Why? We may never know. But somebody has to be held to account. And in my opinion, the buck stops with the manager. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your time as always. I appreciate your support. We'll talk soon.